Hello and welcome to the second part of Up the Nile, Alice in Egypt, which is the sixth installment in Alice in Egypt. It's been 4 weeks, so just a very brief overview of what happened the last time. You went up the Nile on a boat trip. So basically, you did the touristy up the Nile, Abu Simbel, all of the Luxor, etc., all of the sites. And on your way back, you had the barge drop you off at Tel El Amarna, where there is a dig going on, to which you have been invited because you went to the society or to the British Society of Egyptian Antiquities, and you made, first of all, a sizable donation, but you also made, I would say, a very nice acquaintance with the people who are digging there, namely Dr. Peter Frampton and his crew. And they invited you to stay a couple of days with them in the desert to take a look at how they are excavating the remains of Akhenaten, the city founded by Akhenaten and his wife Nefertari. Nefertiti. Nefertari is another one. And your guide on the trip up the Nile was Lady Jane Carmichael, who is friends with Dottie for some weird reason. And on your way back, you spent 2 days already at the dig site, and you got to watch the archaeologists at work. But you also got to talk at length with John Pertillo, who is the photographer, and he showed you a couple of he showed you how he takes photographs and stuff, and he showed you some of his techniques. By the way, can you make sure that you check climb, because you did a climb check and you passed it really well, and I'm not sure if you actually remember, but you can try and
is a good thing. Also, I did not open my thing or picked up dice, so I will roll on my
and it's been really nice. You also watched Linda Savage work. She is the person who does the drawings of the finds. And on your first night, you noticed that as soon as darkness falls, there is a sound of thousands of people sighing. And the name of this particular area in Egypt is actually called Sahra al-Tanahudati, which is Arabic and means a desert of sighs. And nobody really knows what makes that sound. So people have likened it to Abu Simbel, where in the old days, before they built the Aswan Dam and had to move the temple, every so often you could hear kind of like a sighing noise coming from the temple, which had something to do with the wind and how it got caught in the chamber. So maybe this is the same phenomenon. And you've also taken a look at the site itself. So one of the things that is quite interesting is that there is a field of stelae, which don't seem to have any function. Nobody really knows why they exist. They are simply there. People have been trying to find out what they might be. It's been ruled out that this may have been a building. If it was, then it's more like a labyrinth. Also, since it's been exposed to the elements for thousands and thousands of years, if there was ever any painting or paint on these stelae, it's long been washed off, or maybe the sand has basically scrubbed it off. Probably not washed off because there isn't that much rain. And on the second night, you woke up because you heard men talking outside your tent, and it was Dr. Peter Frampton and Thomas Savage, and they were talking because Linda Savage has gone missing in the middle of the night, and you joined them, and Dr. Peter Frampton has informed you that Linda Savage, and he's asked you not to disclose this to anyone, is actually an opium addict. And if word gets out, she will lose her job. And he had told her husband to ensure that she doesn't bring any. But when she does take opium, she sometimes gets into fugue states. And it could be that she basically just was in one of those fugue states and has wandered off, which can be dangerous and could mean her death. So you have volunteered to help Frampton and Savage to find Linda.
Yep.
And Dottie also joined. And so Thomas Savage and John Pertillo have taken the car and driven towards the river. And you, Peter and Dottie have gone towards the stelae with a rope to try and find your way through there to see has she walked or wandered into that area,
Yep.
which is kind of treacherous. And basically, you at some point you turned a corner and the whole scenery changed. Suddenly, Dottie was gone, and you found yourself in what you now know is or was a battlefield from the First World War. And Peter seems to have been suffering from a flashback. So it seems like he served in the war there.
Mm-hmm.
And you met somebody who looks exactly like Lady Jane Carmichael, who has, and this entity has told you that she's the mother of sighs and that Peter has called her and she's here to help him.
Mm-hmm.
And you have tried to dissuade him from talking to this entity. He has just basically sidestepped you, and she embraced him and eased him to the ground. And the last you know was that he was lying there like Christ in the lap of Mary underneath the cross on the day that he was taken down from the cross. She's assured you that she has not. She tells you that Linda is nowhere here. She's somewhere else, but she's not here. And
Mm-hmm.
Dottie is in her city.
Mm-hmm.
And as you inquire about the city, she just nods over your shoulder. You turn around and you see the lights of a city. And you basically decide, okay, either try and save Peter from whatever his fate may be, or trust maybe this entity that he'll be fine, whatever that means. Or go and find Dottie. And you've decided to go and find Dottie. So after about 20 minutes, you enter the city. And it's a bit of a weird city because, yes, it's a city. It does remind you of New York, but not like you remember it. So there are houses that you remember, but they are in a very weird combination. So it's like somebody took parts of New York City and put them back together. And as you walk through New York City looking for, or this version of New York City looking for Dottie, you come across a corpse lying in the gutter.
Mm-hmm.
And it is a flashback to a scene that you lived through on your 20th birthday when your boyfriend at the time, and you were probably going out for your birthday, and there was a mugging gone wrong and he got stabbed and died. And you pause for a moment, and of course there is some emotion, but you decide to, like, this is all functioning mode,
Yeah,
and you keep
this is
going.
all not real, for sure. This cannot be real because there is no war in the middle of the desert, and everything that we see is not in the desert. So this is all
Hmm.
probably in our mind. So
Hmm. Do you actually ever try to touch any of the houses?
yeah, I think she would.
Hmm. Okay, so they do feel real. They feel like stone buildings, and
Mm-hmm.
as you walk, you also your footsteps are footsteps that are made on
Can you on a
pavement, not
pavement?
on the normal desert floor. And you turn a corner, and of course it's night in the city as well, and you come to a street, and you recognize one of the buildings instantaneously because it's the building that you went to when you visited Dottie's mum when Dottie was in hospital. It's the house, the terraced house, crammed terraced houses where Dottie grew up and where the family still lives.
Mm.
And it's like those tiny houses, you know, like maybe 2 floors, 3 bedrooms. There's 6 brothers and sisters, so go figure, very cramped living conditions. And next to that house is another house just like it. And outside that house, you see a taxi. And you see the door of the house next to Dottie's house open. And a person steps out with their head bowed, and they have, like, basically they're wearing a coat. And somebody's putting them into the taxi. A man is putting them into a taxi, not necessarily very gently, closes the door, walks round the taxi and speaks to the driver. And the driver drives off with the car and the person inside. And you can see on the back of the car, you know how the old cars didn't have a trunk, but basically they had like this, there was this contraption that you could just put your suitcase on, and then it
Mm-hmm.
was tied to it.
Yep.
And you can see that there is kind of like a traveling trunk on this car, and the car drives off.
I had
And as
no
you
chance to see who was put into the cab.
make a spot hidden, but it has to be a really good success.
Let's see how dice on the mobile phone are doing. That is normal success, so no.
Hmm. No. It wasn't a tall person or a big person. It was kind of like a smallish person. And not a child,
Yeah,
though.
that's a question. So an adult
Mhm.
but shorter kind. Okay.
Yeah. And as you look around, you see that on the same side of the street that you're standing, there are also houses. And in one of the doorways, you see Dottie. And she looks like the Dottie that you remember from like half an hour ago,
Mm-hmm.
wearing the clothing that she was wearing when she was going to look for Linda. And she's watched this scene as well. And I have to take my glasses off for this. You see how she takes her middle finger and thumb and she wipes over her eyes like so. And then you know how somebody, when they breathe in really deeply, how their whole posture changes. So she does this. You see this change, somebody breathing deeply in, and then she straightens her clothes and turns around and sees you. What do you do?
I would wave and call over.
She walks very quickly towards you.
I walk also quickly towards her, so we meet halfway. And I will just give her blankly a hug. To see if
She
she's
hugs you back.
really there.
She feels like Dottie, yes. A living, breathing person that has body warmth.
We
Yeah.
need to find a way out of here, Dottie. This is a place we should not be.
Did you also see something?
I've seen a few things now. I've seen
I just saw the one. I don't want to see any more.
the outside. I met the mother of Sais, which is the middle sister of the three wonderful deities. Now I know two of them. And she clearly stated that Peter has to stay with her, which is creepy enough, because
What?
he's in the middle of a war, stuck there. And it's a horrific war. And on the way here, I stumbled over something of my past that was not really a good thing to remember. Was that something of your past? You don't have to explain, but
It was.
this seems to be a place of, I don't know, suffering or living through what you suffered again and again.
I don't really need to live through this again because I had thought I'd put this past me, but when I saw it again, it hurt me so deeply I don't need to see this again.
I am completely with you. Should we try to find our way out of here?
Yes, and she takes your hand
Yeah.
and she basically pulls you along away from her
Uh,
house. And she says, that was my parents' house. I
I
haven't seen our house.
I
Have
haven't
you?
seen our house either
What
because
about your parents' house? Have you seen your parents' house?
no, but I'm honestly not sure if there are any memories that horrible. There would be other places, but they would not be in New York City.
How do we get out of here?
Let's see if I can retrace my steps. And Alice will try to remember which way she went.
Orienteering.
So turning around backwards,
Mm-hmm.
going around the corner again, but I will hold on to Dottie for sure. I think that's a vice
Yeah.
versa thing that we will not let
Yeah.
go of each other.
She's holding your hand and she's not letting go.
That would be
Um
navigation, I think.
yeah,
Oh god, I'm not good at. Why am I so bad at navigation?
because we've never used it.
It's not worth to give that
How
much.
much did you? What is your base value?
The
Is it 10
10,
or do you
10
have?
is the base
Hmm.
value, and I rolled a 32, so a
Oh yeah,
fail.
that would be a lot. Yeah.
And giving
Okay,
12 points of, no, 22 points of luck is too much.
22.
That's not worth it.
Well, she will give it a try, although I don't think she also rolled a 32. She also has no points in it. So basically, you keep walking, and suddenly she stops and she says, "Have you noticed something? There are no sighs. It's absolutely quiet. It wasn't like that when we were in the desert."
I'm not sure if this is a good thing. It's kind of creepy to walk around in this weirdly puzzled together city without the hustling and bustling of the city.
Well, I have to say that the creepy sighing in the desert did drive me crazy. As you look around, you suddenly hear footsteps behind you,
Oh, Alice will turn around very quickly.
and you see the mother of sighs.
Alice will do like a half step in front of Dottie in a weird, like, you're not getting her protection way.
The lady stops walking. She's about, I don't know, 5 steps away from you.
What do you want from us?
I don't want anything from you. Like I said, I'm not here for you. I came here for Peter.
And we should just leave him with you and give him up?
I'm sorry, I don't know what you think that I do.
Snatching people away? Pull them out of their lives?
I did not snatch him away. He called me.
I highly doubt that, because he has quite a few things to do out there with us in real life.
Yes, so? And you think that this is not real life? You think that this is. Do you think that this isn't happening? Because let me assure you, it is.
Well, this is not the city we know.
That is
And
true.
playing tricks on us to suffer through things again seems to be fun that you like to do. Making him suffer through war again, us suffering through other stuff again. How should we think that you have anything good in mind?
Alice, I did not make him suffer through this. Like I said, he's been carrying this with him wherever he goes since 1916. It just manifested itself tonight. I don't know why, because he's been here a long time, but maybe tonight he had a very powerful emotion. It was fear. Possibly this Linda person that you're looking for. And I can tell you she's not here.
Well,
She has not called me and she's not in my city.
we're all worried for her. Wandering off in the desert is never a good thing, especially not during nighttime.
Like I said, she's not here. I don't know where she is, but she never ever entered my realm. And you are here because Peter took you with him. And she's here, and she looks at Dottie, because she is in as much pain as he is.
We are all in pain. That's what
I
human
know.
seems to be. You can't pull all of us out of the world.
I don't. People have to come to me. And people have for thousands and thousands of years. What do you think you hear at night in the desert?
I don't know if you're just halfway like your sister. You are there even if you're not asked to be there. Or it's always a misunderstanding because you understand things that we humans clearly do not intend to wish for.
People have been praying to me for thousands of years for release. and I've granted release for thousands of years. I understand that you have not prayed to me, and nor has Dottie.
Well, you are officially not existing anymore to be prayed to. It's the question if you just sneak into something like your sister is doing.
I honestly have to say that you are quite a handful, Miss Baker.
Well, that's thanks to your sister for treating us quite horribly. Especially me, to be honest. Can we just
I don't think.
leave, please?
Of course.
All three of us.
Of course. You're free to go.
Where's Peter?
About 10 minutes of walking in that direction.
Thank you. Alice will just grab Dottie and pull her and walk into
You
that
turn
direction.
around,
She turns around.
you see that the city ends like it was never there. And in front of you, you see the
In
desert.
the second that happens, Alice will not turn back, will call back. And you say this is reality. Thank you for the wonderful illusion. And she will walk on.
You walk on.
Mm-hmm.
After about pretty much 10 minutes, you come to a place where a body is lying in the sand. It's Peter Frampton.
Is he still alive? Alice would walk towards him and see if he's still breathing.
He's breathing, and he looks like he's deeply asleep. You also think that he looks a lot younger than you remember him.
Great. Dottie, is that just in my mind? Did he change?
Let me take a look. What's the stat for that?
Would it be spot hidden?
I just need to know what she's got there. Oh, yeah. Well, he certainly looks a lot less harried. But then again, he's asleep. I hope that he doesn't look as careworn as he does during the day when he's asleep.
Alice will carefully put her hand on his shoulder and just see if she can wake him up.
No. He doesn't wake up.
Alice will be cursing in a low voice, but she will be cursing. And she will have a look around. Is there any kind of way that we could find some longer sticks or anything that we can drag him out of here? Although the question is which direction is out of here.
Well, you don't really need to navigate or anything. You know exactly where you are because you're standing next to a stelae.
Okay. But that
I
means
know there are no sticks because
there's nothing here.
there's no wood. What you could do is you could possibly, between the two of you, drag him in front of a stela so that he's kind of like a little bit sheltered from the ever blowing wind. And then one of you or both of you could go back to the tents and get the car.
Well, we should at least try to drag him towards that and try to wake him up.
Okay.
No one stays alone here.
How do you want to try and wake him up?
Well, first of all, yeah, okay, dragging him over, I think it would work. Waking him up would be now more the slap in the face option. Because I'm quite sure Alice did not think about pulling or taking some water or anything with her because it was quite quick panic. Everyone has to move. I'm also not sure if Alice would have really grabbed her handbag. I highly doubt that because at the moment she's more having like a rucksack with her when they're traveling. So it will be just a repeat of, come on, wake up, shaking.
What's your luck?
58.
Okay, I rolled an 11. You are lucky. Um, Dottie brought her first aid kit, and it contains smelling
Smelling
salts.
salt, yeah.
So she takes it out and she holds it to his nose, and that does have an effect. So I'm told it smells terrible.
Mm-hmm.
It can literally bring you back from near death. And he opens his eyes and he looks at you and he says, I thought I saw my mother.
You did not? Do you remember who we are?
He closes his eyes, opens them again, and then he rubs them. And he tries to push himself away from you because he realizes who you are, and this is most inappropriate.
Slowly,
Uh,
slowly. We don't know what she
Miss
did to
Baker,
you.
what?
How are you feeling?
I feel fine. I feel rested. And Dottie feels his pulse. Oh, very nice with a 15. Um, I feel great, actually. I haven't felt it like this in years. But what are we doing here? Why are we here?
Well, initially we were looking for Linda. She ran off.
Of course, we looked for Linda.
But actually we are here because you called for someone to get help. You prayed to someone lately,
What?
often and often, to get
Uh,
rid of the nightmares of war.
he narrows his eyes. Narrow. What do you know about me and my nightmares of war?
Well, I've stood in the middle of the war scene that you seem to remember quite vividly, and I have to say it's quite horrific. Really sorry you had to go through that.
This is a very private question.
It was more a statement. You wanted to know why we are here. Initially to look for Linda. Secondly, we are here because you prayed to someone. And she heard your calling, as it seems. And
He
we were dragged into this as well because we were with you.
make an intimidate check.
Uh, nope.
He you can sense a change in his attitude towards you.
Mm-hmm.
He he tries to get up, and on a 66, um he doesn't make it. So Dottie tries to help him a little bit, to
Alice,
steady him.
Alice would try to offer as well, although she's quite sure that he will not accept her help.
No, he does. He doesn't accept your help, and Dottie tries to help him to his feet, and then he holds on to the stealer that he's standing in front of, and he says, "I'm very sorry that I've inconvenienced you, madam." And he basically looks around to try and get his bearings, and he says, "I think we need to go that way. And he walks off.
Alice would hook him under on the other side. She would just step next to him, just like, don't be silly, we will do that, three of us. I'm glad you feel better now. Linda is definitely not here. And she would just be like, there's no discussion out of this, because it will be much easier and quicker if he's in the middle of two people who can walk quickly.
And you walk back to the. So it does take you the better part of an hour. You can see the tents that. You can see that he seems fine now. He's holding up really well. Then he sees the tents and he says, "Well, here we are." And then he disengages himself from your arm, and he turns to Dottie and he says, "Thank you very much, Miss Williams. I'm indebted to you." And he says, "Why don't you go back to your tent and freshen up, and I will see if there's any word about Linda." And he walks away.
Alice will just shrug and she will walk towards the tent, but she will have an eye clearly if Dottie is following.
Dottie is following. Dottie's next to you. She waits until you're in the tent and she says, "Alice, why? What is it? Why do you keep antagonizing everyone? This man has done nothing to you."
They are around. I am fed up with all this weird insanity.
But you can't take it out on him. It's not like he did anything. I think he's just as surprised as you, and I'm not even sure if he remembers you in the battlefield. It didn't look like it. It might be that you know more than he does.
Well, I'm quite sure he remembers the battlefield quite vividly.
But not what happened just now. Alice, please.
He started this.
How do you know?
She said so.
What was it that she actually said? Please tell me that. What did she say?
She said that he asked for help, and we were stuck there because of him. That was a clear statement of her side.
He asked for her help. Do you think he said, "And please inconvenience Ms. Baker in the process"? I'm pretty sure he did not. Be mad at her. Yes, please do. But I don't think that he's not the perpetrator. He's the victim. If what you're saying is true, he's shell-shocked
I
and has
honestly,
been for a decade.
for sure, and if she was able to help him, I'm glad he's feeling better. He asked what happened. I told him what happened.
When did you lose your compassion?
Somewhere along, probably meeting her the last time in the graveyard.
But that was somebody else.
Alice will just turn around and will go towards the, like, wherever they can wash up a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll say nothing. She will just clean up. And I think after a few minutes, if Dottie is still in the tent and is not leaving,
No, Dottie's not leaving.
she would just turn around. I'm just done. I just want to have a normal life. We were here for vacation. And now it's all insanity again. I just want to have a place where I can get away from all of this. And it seems like I can't. Everywhere I go, horrific things happen. Everywhere. And I have no idea how to stop this. And I don't know how long I will be able to take this.
I don't know what to say.
You know me, I like to be in control and plan things and work things out. All of this is like being thrown around every day in a direction you definitely did not want to go. And as long as I have no idea how to stop this, I will probably be the very grumpy myself, because I am angry at something I cannot pinpoint and I cannot grab and shake, or slap, or yell at.
She takes a step towards you and another step until she's very close. And she says, "Do you want a hug?"
Alice would probably just nod.
And she gives you a hug. And she holds you and she says, "I'm not going to say that everything will be fine because I have a feeling that it won't. But I will be here and I'll be with you. And that's a promise."
I know. And I will see that I talk to Peter and apologize.
I don't know about you, but I feel like some tea.
That sounds lovely. And I'm quite sure I still have a few cookies in my bag.
So how about you get out the cookies and I'm going to get some water and then I'm going to make some tea. Okay?
Dear.
Okay, and she takes the little kettle and she goes outside. And 10 minutes later, she comes back and so basically, they have like a fireplace outside, so not in the tents, and the water has boiled in the kettle, and now she's basically brewing tea. And the two of you have tea and some cookies. And then she says, they don't know where Linda is.
So good.
But tomorrow, one of the barges is going to pass by. So James is... Sorry, what's his name? James.
Thomas was his. At least her husband was Thomas.
Sorry, John. I meant John. The photographer is going to sleep at the pier, and he's going to flag it down.
Okay.
So it they will make sure that we can all go, because
well, we
they're
can't
pretty sure.
go until we find her.
Well, we will not be looking for her.
They need.
Chances are that she's actually fallen into the Nile. And the problem is that there are predators in the Nile.
Maybe she's still running around. We should give it at least a few more days.
They looked everywhere, but they've asked that we leave. They will take care of this. And we're going to take Peter, because Peter is not well. He needs to see a doctor.
Okay.
And someone needs to let the authorities know that there's someone missing.
For
They
sure.
might send in the army. Hopefully. So tomorrow we're going to go back to Cairo. And I think maybe we should both try and get some rest.
Let's try that. Alice would not get rest. She will lay down, but she will stare at the tent ceiling.
In the darkness.
She will definitely not sleep. I think she would rather wait for You know, when someone sleeps, you can kind of hear it. I think she
Yeah.
will just listen in for that, and then she will get up and sneak out of the tent.
Then make a sneak roll.
Isn't there stealth? There's stealth.
There's stealth, yeah. And
Um,
you get an advantage because she is asleep.
that is a normal success.
Okay, you sneak out of the tent. Dottie, as far as you can tell, knows nothing. What do you want to do?
She would just look for probably sitting outside of the tent. She would just try to find this place where she can see that there are no snakes or scorpions or anything like that, but
Mm-hmm.
then she will just sit there and
Mm-hmm.
probably look at the sky, because I can imagine that here, if you have a clear sky, you should be able to see a lot of stars.
You do. And the sky is actually clear. So you see a black sky and you see what looks like millions of stars.
And I think she would just be lost a little bit in thoughts.
Mm-hmm. Make a POW check.
I don't want to. No, that is a 96.
A 96. Okay,
Yes,
that's really.
that's far off
Um,
of any bow she has.
yeah. Okay. How long are you gonna sit there for?
Until the sun rises. At least
Okay, the
that's her
sun
goal.
rises. Make a con check, please.
Nope.
You fall asleep.
Good.
On a 42. Um, you feel that somebody brushes the hair from your forehead
Mm-hmm.
and says, "Sometimes I really wonder if you're really older than me, because you certainly don't behave like that."
Alice doesn't eat it. It's clear that it's Dottie.
Yeah.
She will just smile and be like, growing up is kind of boring.
Yeah, I can tell. I made you some coffee.
Thank you. And she would just yawn and stretch. Probably everything is hurting.
Yeah, especially your neck. It's kind of stiff. You find it
Uh-huh.
difficult to move your head.
She would just try to warm up a little and move.
And she offers you some breakfast. It's not kind of like it's just really like some toast, some with some butter and stuff. So it's nothing fancy. And she says, in an hour we're gonna drive to the pier.
Okay. Then let's quickly pack. At least we do not
It's
have that
done.
much. You already packed.
It's 10 o'clock.
How did I sleep through that long of sunshine?
You see that somebody who shall remain unnamed put tarpaulin on some kind of scaffolding and shaded you from the sun. And she looks at you and she says, "Michael helped me. We tried not to wake you."
Well, you certainly succeeded on that. Thank you.
Always. So how about you go freshen up and I will put our luggage onto the truck. Michael will help me.
I will be there in a second. I don't need long.
Sure. Take your time.
Alice will not take her time. She will be very quick about it.
And then you see Peter come out of his tent. He's now actually holding on to what looks like somebody made him a walking stick. And in the harsh light of day, you can see that he has changed. He does seem a lot less careworn. But you can see that he is he seems physically in bad condition, like somebody who's been outside for a very long time, maybe gone for a very long walk or maybe run a marathon or something. He looks weak.
Mhm.
And then Dottie goes to him and she gives him something to swallow and water. And then she helps him to the car, and Michael helps him into the because it's a truck, so he has to get up a couple of steps,
Yeah.
and he basically hoists him up. And then Michael says, "I'm going to drive you. Unfortunately, there's not enough room. If the two of you ladies could maybe sit on the back of the truck. I know
For
it's not the most comfortable."
for sure. I think before we leave, at least she would try to see if John, the photographer, or Thomas is around.
John is actually at the pier because he's going to flag down the
Okay.
barge. Um, Thomas is nowhere to be seen.
Okay.
But you know where his tent is, so if you want to, you can go
Yeah,
into
she
his
would at
tent.
least try to
Mm-hmm.
see if he's there.
Thomas is there, and he's distraught. He's probably been crying all night. His eyes are red, and he just looks completely devastated.
Alice would, in a very low voice, just, I know your head is not with that. I just wanted to say goodbye. I hope you can find out what happened. And if you need anything that we can do from Cairo, just let us know. We are at the
Thank you.
Continental. We will try to get everything moving as best as we can. Maybe she's
It
still around.
it's my fault.
It's not.
It is. You don't know the half of it.
It's never just one person's fault.
She's ill, and I knew, and I should have let her stay in Cairo. I should have made her stay, but I didn't, and now she's gone.
I think Alice would walk over to him, just either kneel in front of him or sit next to him, whatever's possible, and just carefully take his hand. You gave her the chance to enjoy her being the amazing artist she is out here and not being stuck somewhere in a little room in Cairo. The only thing you are guilty of is that you love her and wanted just the best for her. It could have helped. It was worth a try.
So basically you're holding his hand, so
Mhm.
he squeezes your hand and he says, "It's very kind of you to say that." I don't know what to say to her parents.
At the moment, see that with the help that is out here, see if you can find her. And if not, blankly tell them that she was here, that she loved the work. Maybe give them a few of her wonderful art pieces and that she by mistake wandered off and got lost.
She was the best.
She
Everyone said so.
was an or is still an amazing artist. I really hope there's still a chance that she's somewhere out there and you can find her.
When I go back to Cairo, I will find whoever sold her the stuff and I will kill them. I don't care.
If you know who it was, grab the police. They will be happy to grab them.
There's so much money in this business. The police don't care.
But it would be definitely in no one's mind that you throw away your life as well.
I'm nothing without her. I have no life. We were a team.
I understand that, but would she really want you to throw everything away? I know it's hard, but you have at least friends you can count on. You have the lovely people here, and when you're in Cairo, please call or have a look around at the hotel, and we will figure things out. We will.
And he has another. He starts crying again, but he. It's really like he's trying to fight back the tears, but they're
Mhm.
just falling.
Alice will just, in quiet, a few minutes, will just sit there and hold his hand. We will think of you and send over all of strength and hope for at least answers. Best case, finding her.
He nods, and then yeah, and then at some point he just lets go of your hand, and you also know that you need to get back to the
Yeah,
truck.
I will just probably put my hand on his shoulder and never forget to think what she wanted for you, as hard as it is. And I will just walk then out towards the tent. Exit.
And you walk out of the
Yeah,
tent. You get on the truck.
yeah.
The truck takes you to the pier. The barge is already moored. Um, there are now deckhands that actually help with the luggage, and somebody helps Peter to get on board.
Mm-hmm.
And you know that you have another 1.5 days to Cairo, so it's the whole this day, then the night, and then the following day, and then you will arrive in Cairo the next night.
Mm-hmm.
So, do you want to do anything?
Before we leave, John should be there then for sure.
Mm-hmm.
She would definitely say goodbye to him, thanking him
Mm-hmm.
again for the time there, and just being that she hopes that he can keep an eye on Thomas because he for sure needs friends around at the moment.
Yeah, I can imagine. No, actually, I can't because I've never been in this situation. I don't even want to imagine what it's like. We will do our best, but and he looks around. He says, "If she did fall into the Nile,
Maybe there's a little hope she just wandered off and you can still find her somewhere. It has
yeah,
just been a day basically now, right?
less than a
Yeah,
day
less than
because
a
it was
day.
only last night." Yeah, yeah.
So there is a chance she's still out there alive if she did not
Hmm.
fall into the water.
So they cast off. The barge
Hmm.
leaves. Do you want to do anything, or shall we just jump to
I
your
think on the
arrival?
barge she would try to get a talk with Peter.
Yeah, you can. He's got a cabin to his own,
Then she would
to
want
himself.
she would just knock and would see if he would be
Come,
willing to talk to her.
come. He doesn't know who it is, so basically, you open the door.
She will stick her head inside. Before you yell at me to throw out, would you just have a few minutes?
I will never yell at a lady.
Well, I
Do
sometimes
step
deserve
inside.
it. She will step inside. I
Do take a seat. I'm sorry if I
don't
don't get up.
don't worry. I am here to say that I am sorry. You got the full-blown anger on someone else out there in the desert. I'm very sorry for that.
Apology accepted.
I am really sorry what you are suffering through, and I really hope that the doctors can make you feel refreshed and fit again.
At the moment, it's only my body. I feel like I ran up Mount Everest and back down again. But I can't remember sleeping this deeply and this refreshingly since before the war.
It sounds like you went through a lot of stress for a very long time. And now your
For
body
the
is
first
catching up because now it has
for the
the chance
first
to
time
relax.
since then, I can't hear the shelling.
I can't even imagine how you lived through these memories every day, but I'm glad that you can breathe again and sleep again.
I believe I saw my mother, which is strange because she's been dead 10 years. But I'm sure she was there.
Well, our loved ones always come back if we need them.
They do, don't they?
And it was time for you to let go of all of this horror. And then I'm sure they will figure out, just with some rest, what do they say, vitamins and other things to get your body up speed as well.
We fought the war to end all wars. Do you think we did?
I hope so. I'm not sure. We humans are quite good in doing quite horrible things. Sadly so.
Maybe I will be able to sleep again tonight.
I hope that you sleep every night from now on in a restful, peaceful way.
Who did you meet in the desert that upset you so?
The sister of someone who upset me very much.
He starts. He's here in the desert.
Yes.
So you've met somebody in Cairo,
No.
an Egyptian woman who upset you? What?
It's a bit more complicated and probably rather crazy sounding.
If you say so, madam.
I am just glad that the one we met here was able to help you to find your peace, to connect you with your mother, and give you the
There was
rest you
someone
deserve.
else there.
Yes, she kind of set the scene and brought everything together. That was the one I told you you were probably praying to, willingly or not willingly. She seems to be there to give people some peace with things they carry around for much too long.
I've been thinking about what you said about praying. It pains me to say that I have not prayed since the psalm. I believe God is dead.
Something inside you probably prayed for this to end somehow. Not to God, but to whatever is out there.
Whatever is out there.
Well, if you believe in the Egyptian gods, there are more than just one.
I was just going to say, what you're talking about doesn't really sound very Christian. It sounds more mythological.
I'm not very Christian, quite different from Dottie. I think there's something more out there. But the whole,
Well, I'm pretty sure Miss Williams also thinks that there's a little bit more out there.
yes, but the whole church thing, and that there's the one God, and that humankind has to suffer until they can be released. It's a weird understanding for me.
I have a feeling that your Miss Williams takes great strength from this belief.
She does, and I'm happy she has that. It's just not for me.
He smiles. And you can see that he's finding it difficult to keep his eyes
Hmm.
open, so he seems quite tired,
Then
still
she will
exhausted.
just, I will not bother you longer. I just wanted to
Oh no, you're not
apologize.
bothering. And he's trying to
Hmm.
get up, but it's not really working, so
I actually need to be back to meet with Dottie. We have some plans. So thank you for just taking the time. I will see you around.
of course, madam. And he nods.
Then
I would get up, but
please don't worry. You will get up and meet us when you're fit back in Cairo.
and he smiles. And yeah, and then you
Yeah,
leave his
I will
his
leave
cabin.
his. That's all that would happen on the ship. That was her one thing that she wanted to apologize.
So you arrive the next evening in Cairo, and basically, then at the port in Cairo, of course, there is a medical station. So they summon stretcher bearers. They take him down. There's an ambulance that's
Hmm.
called. He's put in. He's driven to one of the. He's actually driven to. Well, they've got a couple of Western English-run hospitals. So he's brought to one of those. You know where it is,
Yeah,
so they
that
tell
would
you
be.
if you
Yes.
inquire. Yeah. So it's we're just gonna make a note of it. It's actually it's St Anne's Hospital and Hospice. So for those who don't make it, they just get stretchered to the hospice wing immediately. And what do you do? Do you go back to the Continental,
Yeah.
or do you? Okay.
At least Alice would like to. I'm not sure what Dottie is up to.
Well, Dottie has not left your side. So the two of you return to the Continental.
Yeah. Have all our stuff dropped there.
So it's now around about 6 o'clock in the evening. What do you want to do?
Should we just book a table downstairs? Because
Let me take care of this.
going for food shopping now, I think we
I'll take
both
care of it.
deserve.
Yeah. So she goes upstairs. Downstairs. Well, no,
She
she
can
doesn't.
just
She actually
call.
just picks up the
Yeah.
phone. She reserves a table for two for 8 o'clock. Um, and then she looks at you and she says, "That lady we saw,
Hmm.
she looked like Lady Jane."
Well, if she's just halfway as talented as her sister, I guess they all can turn into any kind of figure they like. The only thing means that she met Lady Jane somewhere, because I highly doubt they can conjure up an appearance from someone they never met. And Peter for sure did not think about Lady Jane in all of this situation, and honestly, I did not either. Did you think of her?
Do you think Lady Jane set us up?
No. Do you really think that? You know her better than I do.
No.
The thing is,
No,
Lady Jane
I,
did.
I'm horrified
I think
at the thought.
she must have done a lot of research for her book. A lot of research. Maybe she stumbled over them or caused the attention. Similar as we did with the younger sister.
You can see that this is convincing to Dottie, or Dottie wants to be convinced, because obviously that was something that she found horrifying, the idea that Jane might have set her up, or set you up to meet this entity that you so don't want to meet.
I really don't think
Uh,
Lady Jane, she probably didn't even know. I think those, whatever they are, they're just kind of bored. And whenever a human piques their interest, they are kind of getting focused on them.
Well, from what you told me, it seems more like the second one takes an interest in people who suffer and call her.
The question is, I'm not sure if she is there to have them suffer more or to help them. Because Peter, as weak as he seems, he clearly says that for the first time since the war, he's feeling peaceful. So something happened that made him do the final step of closing that chapter and that memory, which honestly is a good thing. Because that, I have no idea how we went through that thinking about this every day.
I've been thinking. You said you wanted a place to get away from it all. I
Mhm.
mean, Egypt obviously wasn't far enough. But if you like, I know that Jane is away again up the Nile in 2 days' time. She said if I wanted to, I could have her house. It's very nice. It's outside of Cairo a little bit, quite secluded. It's beautiful.
We can do that for a piece of change. I don't think it will help because I think wherever we go or I go, things are happening.
If this is so, then I don't know how to help you.
You cannot.
Don't say that.
Maybe pray to your God and maybe he's willing to listen and do something.
I've been praying so hard for you.
Well, it seems that I'm definitely a lost case in his eyes.
Don't say that.
Well, I don't believe in him, so why should he help me? It's just fair.
He loves all his creation, including you.
I am the most critical and cynical one, and for sure do not believe in a single bit in him.
Yes, you are critical. Yes, you are cynical.
I'm
I
happy he's
won't deny any of this.
giving you hope and peace. That's most important. With all that has happened, there
You
I,
are so selfless.
with all that happened, church and one God is so far away from me to even believe they are real, and they are for sure not the only one. I honestly kind of like the idea that, I don't know, other religions, also the older religion systems had, that there are just multiple ones.
You
Everyone
know what I
has
told
their
you
main
about the
part.
Mother of Shadows?
Yeah.
She's his creation.
Hmm.
Of course, I believe in her. I find it funny that you find it so easy to believe in them and you find it so impossible to believe in him.
Well, I've met them and talked to them, fought with them, annoyed them. That is something that your God is definitely not willing to share.
I believe that God has a little ledger, and on it says Alice's Adventures. And he records every single one of your deeds. And he's like, oh, there's this Alice again.
And Alice is always annoyed with him for not being there. At least not visibly there. When I can't touch it and cannot explain it logically, it's just not there.
He was the one who made sure you didn't die when you got shot.
Sure.
And you can't convince me otherwise,
I'm
Alice.
I am not trying to.
Good.
We both just have different views on the setting of the world.
But I want to change before we go to dinner.
That is a good
She,
idea. Get into something more fitting than a travel clothing.
and she goes to to the bathroom. She basically has a shower. She changes, and and then after
Alice
about
will
2 hours.
change as
Hmm.
well. She will write a small letter and will uh, put it under the door where Pamela lives.
Hmm. Okay.
Because at least as far as we remember, Pamela did not plan to leave, did she?
No,
Yeah,
no.
then it would
She
be
actually made
like,
a note of when you would be returning, so that she was going to be able to
yeah, we
have a
returned
party or something.
earlier than planned.
Yeah, you did 2 days.
Just that she knows that
Hmm.
we are already
Hmm.
there.
Um, when you get back, because you do this and then you go back because you want to pick up Dottie for dinner,
Yep.
you hear Dottie's on the phone,
Hmm.
and she's saying, and you hear her say, "No, it was lovely, but something happened, and I think I would want to talk to you when you're back. But in the meantime, I was wondering if I could take you up on your offer. Could we stay at your house for a couple of days?" No, I'm fine. I'm fine. Everything's fine. But I believe that Alice could use a break. Brilliant. Okay. So you're gonna. All right. So you come by tomorrow evening. We can have dinner, and you can give us the keys. That would be brilliant. Excellent. I'll see you tonight. I'll see you tomorrow night, Jane. Bye. And she hangs up and she says, "That was Jane. She's gonna join us for dinner tomorrow, and she's gonna drop off the key."
Lovely. And then she's going on another cruise, you said.
Yeah, in 2 days' time. So the day after tomorrow.
We
So
sh
we can't have dinner too late. So I said 6.
that's totally fine. She will not
And then,
be happy to hear about Linda.
no, I didn't tell her. We will have to do this really carefully.
I think we should just tell her that she wandered off and went missing. It's not on us to discuss her problem.
Oh, no, no, no. I wasn't even going to go that far. I mean, I'm pretty sure that Jane knows all about opium addiction, but we're not going to slander anyone.
No, I still hope they can find
Because
her, to be honest.
let's go. And she basically hooks you under,
Yeah,
and the two of you have a lovely dinner. Um, when you get back, you actually find a letter from Pamela saying, "Oh, you're back early. I'm glad you're back. If you don't have any plans tomorrow during the day, we could have a spa day.
that sounds good.
Just RSVP me, and you can make a decision if you RSVP and say yes. In that case, she would pick you up at 11, and then the two of you would have a lovely spa day until about 3 o'clock with champagne by the pool and massages and Turkish baths and that kind of thing."
I would blankly turn around and just ask Dottie, what's your plan then for tomorrow? I guess shopping?
Well, I thought that if we're going to go to Lady Jane's, we don't really need to do any shopping
Oh,
because I'm pretty
oh,
sure she will fill up the
I
pantry.
thought she would come here.
For dinner, yes, but I thought we could. Oh, you want me to cook?
No, it's a question how dinner is planned. Totally. We're eating
For some
downstairs.
for some reason, I had thought that we would just go and eat
Yeah,
downstairs.
perfect.
Excellent. Okay, good. No, then actually, I don't have any. Well, I don't have any plans. I just wanted to pack a couple of things that I want to take to Jane's. Like some of the books. Although she has so many books, I won't be needing books. But like my writing stuff, because I thought that I could maybe work on my Greek a little.
We both can do. The question is, do you want to join us tomorrow for a spa day?
Let's see how prudish she is. She's Irish.
I know, but at least I want to ask.
90. No,
No.
no, you're older 90. Uh, come to think of it, I could do some shopping,
You
Turkish delight and some.
no worries. You don't have to. You don't have to do shopping. You can just be here relaxed, feet up, and just enjoy reading, or just sit at the pool and enjoy a drink and read.
You don't mind?
Why should I?
It's just not my thing.
I know, but it should become your thing because you deserve some rest just as I do.
Well, maybe just the two of us when Pamela isn't there, because I feel very uncomfortable. I always feel like I'm a grey mouse when she's around.
Then I will see that we can pack a few things for when we're at Lady Jane's place. We will just do our own spa, just us two.
She has a pool.
See? And we can do
Okay,
some like beauty masks and just have a little bit of something to strengthen our hair and just enjoy ourselves.
excellent. But what I will do is I will make some lemonade for the two of you.
That sounds lovely. Make enough that you have some as well.
Of course.
Good.
And some killer iced tea.
Then she will give Pamela the feedback on yes, pick me up tomorrow.
She also tried to make mocha for Pamela at a 94. Pamela has to suffer, but Pamela.
With a 94, honestly, she would not serve it to Pamela.
No, actually, she wouldn't. Yeah,
Then
she
she
would
would
know.
rather do a
This is
normal
gonna,
coffee and just
yeah.
give that.
So basically, it's like plop. It
Mm-hmm.
falls out of the into the cup. Oh dear,
Oh
it's
dear,
tart.
yeah. Oh, she
Yeah.
would
So,
suffer through it herself, I think,
yeah,
but she
yeah,
would
she would.
definitely not share it with.
But the tea the iced tea and the lemonade that she makes, and she makes 1.5 liters each, so that everyone can have some, because she likes that kind of thing. So she has enough for you guys, and then she says, "Well, I will actually go down to the pool and do some reading."
Enjoy, and I will see you later.
Okay, so the spa is lovely. It's a Turkish bath as well that they have, and it's kind of like really like with hammam, and you get massages, and it's. How does that make you feel? Does that give you some rest?
No.
Of course not.
It will be nice for the body for sure, to calm down a bit, but I don't think it will help Alice to really relax.
Mhm.
At least I don't think so.
Okay. So, do you actually tell Pamela anything of what has happened?
I think I will tell her about what we've seen,
Mm-hmm.
what we shopped when we were back in, oh God, where were we?
Luxor.
Luxor, and just tell her that we had to leave a bit early because there was and someone went missing in the um,
Oh dear.
camp, and we clearly were more on the way than helpful, so we left a bit early than planned.
So you tell her also that you bought, or that Dottie bought one of the paintings by
Yeah,
Lagrange, and she says, "Oh yes, I bought some of his work as well. I mean, his cityscapes are just really beautiful."
they're really beautiful, so
Yeah.
I think it was a good investment.
What I always find interesting is I don't understand why the Egyptian government doesn't use some of his cityscapes, even like in advertisements, because he captured the soul of modern Egypt so well. And
Well,
yeah,
he's
and I also
he's
find it
he's
very
n-
sad.
he's not from here, is he? That's probably
That
why.
is that is true, yeah. But like I said, I sometimes wish we. I always hope that one day the Met will actually come to see that art that serves a purpose, not just art, like advertisement can be art. That they maybe put up an exhibition of that at some point. I would love to see that.
Maybe one day, because there are beautiful artists out there that should deserve more attention.
That is true. I got a phone call from Jane. She's coming tonight to have dinner with the two of you.
Yes, Dottie organized that we can stay at Lady Jane's place for a few days, just to have a change of scene.
Very nice. So,
How long do you plan to stick around here in Egypt?
well, I was actually going to ask you the same thing because now it's the end of November. Christmas is really great, so I will definitely stick around for Christmas. But my husband has invited me for the New Year's, and I was wondering if you and Dottie might be interested in hopping to France.
Well, going over to Europe sounds lovely, and since we're already around, it's much easier to get from here to Europe than back from home.
You see, the thing is that there will be a New Year's celebration at my ex-husband's vineyard. It's going to be it's going to be a huge party. I think you would love it.
He will not
And
mind when you bring us with you.
Bertrand doesn't mind. You see, I think he has three things in life that he would like to achieve: happiness for his wife, happiness for his children, and happiness for me.
That sounds like a surprisingly good man.
Like I said, you would love him. He's a fantastic person. It just didn't work out between the two of us, but it wasn't like we didn't like each other anymore. It was just that I think I was too adventurous for him. He likes the quiet life, and there is nothing wrong with that.
No, but quiet is definitely not really you, my darling.
No, it isn't. But I mean, his wife, Genevieve, they fit together perfectly. And I get to, oh yeah, and on the second, they will actually close up shop and I will be looking after the kids for 2 weeks because they're going to go skiing. So if you and Dottie would like, you could stay at the chalet, at the big house with me and the kids.
That sounds fun. I will ask Dottie because we never really talked about what to do after Egypt.
The first 2 weeks I mean, it's essentially in the country, but the first 2 weeks of the new year, um, I really love them. There is winter. We can go ice skating on the lake. There's a small lake in the village, and of course there's the carnival. I mean, who doesn't like a carnival?
That sounds lovely. And then Dottie and I can think about if we at least want to move on and see a little bit of Paris and maybe go to London and then on obviously go back via London.
Yeah. You know what? I'm going to write to Bertrand today, and I'm going to let him know that it's likely that I'm going to bring two guests. You don't have to commit to it now, but I will let him know that this is definitely an option. I mean, I've got the small chalet to myself anyway. It's got 3 bedrooms, so that would be plenty.
That is definitely plenty. I will ask Dottie later on and can give you an answer tomorrow.
I mean,
Then we all
I
can
would
plan.
invite her myself, but I always feel that she's kind of mortified when I speak to her. I don't know what it is about me.
She is more the quiet kind. I think she was
And
kind of intimidated by me in the beginning as well. She just needs
do tell.
time to warm up.
Oh no, she's not. It's not like I feel that she's unfriendly. I just feel that I always I'm always afraid that I might say something that completely scandalizes her.
I think there's not much that can scandalize her anymore, thanks to me. Mm, but I think from time to time we both are probably a bit overwhelming,
Yes, Alice,
which
you
she's
definitely are
not
overwhelming.
angry about. She just has to process it. She's a good Catholic girl, and I sometimes tend to forget that we are very far out of her comfort zone. I'm
I always admire what a wordsmith you are.
I'm still impressed that she kind of got into wearing trousers and being a bit more modern. It's a slow progress, but she's slowly getting
Does
there.
she ice skate?
I have no idea. We never talked about that.
I hope she likes kids. I can imagine that she would be great with kids.
Oh, I'm quite sure she is. She will definitely have more patience than I do.
Oh, really?
Hmm,
What a
surprise!
surprise!
Well, no, she would enjoy that for sure.
Then extend my best wishes to her and say that I would be more than ecstatic if she agreed to join me with you.
I will tell her that and ask her. I think she still has.
Or if you think that this is too much,
No, no, no.
tone it
Yeah.
down.
Oh, I will. No, not tone it down. She should know that it's not just being polite. You really would be happy to have her. I think she's from time to time still in the mind that it's more politeness that she's invited. She hasn't
To be quite
seen
honest,
much of the world outside New York.
life is too short to be polite about who you spend your precious time with,
Well,
Alice.
we both know that. She, well, just as we did, she grew up with a lot of regulations on how things should be, but she never really got the point to say, I don't care about that.
But you're working on this, aren't you, my dear?
Bit by bit, every day, but in a slow, step by step
She
scenario.
smiles at you. Good work. And so the spa day comes and goes. Um, and then basically at 3:30, 4 o'clock, Ms. Baxter Strauss retires to write some letters. And then at 6 o'clock, sharp, Lady Jane appears.
Mm-hmm.
Makes an appearance, one should say. Um, Today she's not even wearing tweed. She didn't even bother. Now today it's linen. It's a linen suit, linen trousers, and the three of you, go for dinner.
Mm-hmm.
And the first thing she does is she hands the keys to Dottie, and she says, "Well, Dorothy, you know where everything is. My home is your castle." And do you tell her about you talk to her about Linda?
Yeah.
You tell her about that Linda went missing.
Yeah.
She is very concerned. And she also says to you, "Well, I don't mean to alarm you, but I think it would be a lie to say that I hold out much hope.
Well,
The desert is a very dangerous place. Very dangerous."
I understand that, but there might be at least a little hope. At least when
I
we
wonder why
left,
she.
it was not even a day past. You can survive, especially during nighttime. As long as nature is not getting you, she should be fine because the heat comes later. It depends
I
on
just wonder
what
why
happens.
she would walk away, because I mean it's not like this is her first dig. She's been on many digs. She isn't, well, she's not an archaeologist, but she's been in the trade for 4 years. This is her fourth season. She would know better. I just wonder if something else happened.
I think she just lost her way.
I don't even want to know how Thomas is getting on.
Not very well. I offered him help, whatever he needs. If he's back in Cairo, he should just say word. And I tried to tell him that he has a lot of friends that he can count on. And that we all still hope, pray, cross fingers, whatever fits for us. That maybe they find her, or at least that they find, honestly, an answer on what happened.
I'm just glad that two of you didn't wander off.
Well, we did, but we were in company with Peter
You
because we
wandered off.
not really we went to look for Linda, obviously all of us, but in groups. So we did not just blankly walk into nowhere.
She looks at Dorothy, and she says, Dorothy, you didn't join them, did you?
Alice will not say a word. That's for Dottie to answer.
And Dottie says, what would you have me do? Let Alice go on her own? And Jane smiles and she says, no, of course not.
Well, that's why we went in a group. No one went alone, because together it's definitely safer out there.
The desert at night, even in a group, is dangerous.
It was a bit scary, I have to say.
Well, then, I mean, my place is in the desert. It's a stone's throw away from Cairo, but it is in the desert. There's a reason why there's a wall.
Well, we don't have to walk out into the desert in the middle of the night. We can be safe and sound at your lovely place. Thank you again for sharing with us.
Yeah. I do hope that the two of you will stay put.
I have no idea of walking off into the desert, and I highly doubt Dottie has.
Yeah, very good. So at least one of you has some sense, and she looks at you.
Well, I have a little, and Dottie has a little more.
And she smiles. Dinner is delicious. She takes her leave. And it really finishes at 9 because she has to be up early because she has to meet the group in the morning and then, take them up the Nile. And then the next morning at about 10.
I think on
Sorry,
the
yeah.
same evening after the dinner, I would grab Dottie when we're back in our room and would be like, just 1 second. Pamela invited both of us, and explicitly both of us. She would love to have you there as well. It's not just that you are there because I am there. She wants both of us there to celebrate New Year in France. She got the invitation from her ex-husband to be there. She has the chalet, and after New Year, she will be there basically on her own for 2 weeks. She just has to look out for his kids. And she would be glad to have a bit of company with us if you would be up for that. You can think about it. But I would love to maybe see a little bit of Europe after Egypt, because it's much easier to get there from here than traveling back to the States and then back to Europe. We could go.
You will have to help me with my French then.
Well, my French is a little. Maybe I should rather learn more French than Greek when I think about it. My French is quite rusty.
If you think that she really wants me there, I would love to go.
She would be delighted to have you there.
Then say yes.
Cool. And then we both can think that maybe we go afterwards to Paris for a few days, visiting the
Could we
Louvre.
go to the Louvre?
Yes.
Yes.
Sitting in a cafe, just enjoying a café au lait and croissant or chocolate tart. And then maybe go over to London, stay there for a few days. And from London, we can easily get a ship back to New York.
I would love that. Do you think we have enough money?
Yes.
Then, if this is settled, I would let Teresa know.
That would
And you
be.
should tell your parents.
I can write another postcard. Or I can, via the hotel, see that we can get a message over there.
How about you write them a letter?
I will write.
There is much more room in a letter than on a tiny pencil.
But I don't have that much to say. The only thing we could do, I can do one shipping from here back to New York City with the stuff that we bought.
Indeed, yes.
And I could tell mother and father that a few things are for them, although it would be nice to give them in person. Let's just ship it to our place and I can give it to them when we're
Teresa
back.
can take receipt of it,
Yeah,
no problem,
and
and then you can uncrate it when we're there, and you can hand it over.
I think that makes sense because it doesn't make sense to transport it to
No.
France, then to Paris, then to London and have it with us.
Hmm.
That we just have what we need.
Hmm. And so the plan is made. You can see Dottie is excited. She's chuffed that she's been invited.
That's good.
And yeah, and so the next morning, she informs you that Jane has arranged for her driver to pick you guys up at 10.
Perfect. Then, yeah, we will pack our stuff. Alice would drop a letter at Pamela's place before we leave. Just be like,
Mm-hmm.
we both would be delighted to keep you company in France. See you in a few days when we are back.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
then
Mm-hmm.
let's see, because Alice has no idea how the place looks. She has never been at Lady Jane's place.
Mm-hmm. So Lady Jane's place is really outside of Cairo. So you leave the city limits, and it is actually in the desert. Um, the the drive takes about an hour, and it's not like there are no other buildings. There is actually a village, and the village is, well, it's almost like an oasis. So there are palm trees and everything. You can see that people, it's away from the Nile, but there's obviously enough water for date trees to grow, and so there are fruit trees, and fruit is grown, but there is no tillage, so there are no kind of like other crops, but it's really fruit.
Mm-hmm.
um, and then there is lots of palm trees. It's almost like a grove. You drive through the grove, and then you get to a gate, and there is a wall, and the driver gets out, opens the gate, and you enter into something that looks a little bit like A Thousand Nights and One Night. It's made of sandstone, the stone that you've seen before, so it's all kind of like native, and it's old. So this probably was not, it can't have been built by her. It looks a lot older. And it's um it's in the Arabic style. So, like with those beautifully crafted window lattices.
Mm-hmm.
And when you ask, he's English. The
Mm-hmm.
driver is English, and when you ask, he informs you that this was actually once a palace of a local Arabic ruler, a sheikh,
Mm-hmm.
essentially, and she bought it 20 years ago, and it's the water table is so high that you actually don't even need it to drill and irrigate, but there is enough water for the whole garden, and there is a huge garden, and it is beautiful. It's got so many different flowers, orchids, everything, because it's hot, but there is enough water for very rare plants to grow. Um, and so it's like this square compound, and the houses are built around this central garden.
Mm-hmm.
And in one of the houses, there is kind of like an atrium with a pool. And it's there is no other word for it. It's a palace. She really lives in a palace.
That will be lovely days coming up.
And the driver says, "May I show you to your rooms,
Yes,
madam?"
thank you.
And he takes your luggage, And then another person, the butler appears as well, not the butler actually, but one of the hands appears, and they basically help you with the luggage or take the luggage from you, and you are shown into a flight of rooms, really. So it's like one room after the other, with really huge entrances between them without doors. You actually just walk through it. It's like a suite of rooms. And so there are two bedrooms, and then there is a really huge living space. And inside it's all tiled. And the colors are mainly in blues. So this seems to be the blue part of the house. And Dottie informs you that there is also a green and a red part.
This is for sure a beautiful place. If
Wait till you see the library.
you can give us a tour, if not, I would definitely like to explore a little.
Of course.
Should we explore together?
I've seen it, but I'm happy to give you the tour.
Then she
And
will
then,
hook herself in with
mhm.
Dottie.
So the so the house really has four colors: green, red, blue, and then there is one that is kind of like sand colored.
Hmm.
And the sand colored part is the part, it's the smallest part, incidentally. And that's where Lady Jane has her house,
Hmm.
the part of the house that she inhabits. So
Yeah.
basically, it's a bedroom, and it holds the library and a parlor for visitors when she wants to entertain, kind of like near her bedroom. And then there is a separate house where the kitchen is, and where the staff live.
Hmm.
And um, the library is huge. It's it rivals the one that the colonel had, and it's all it's all kinds of things, but of course a lot about Egypt and the Aegean and Rome and ancient Greece, and um, and then she shows you where the dining room is, and it's a huge dining room with a fountain in it, and it is kind of this, on the one hand, Near Eastern splashing out of showing of wealth, the way, like the
Hmm.
sheikhs would have built to show off their wealth,
Yeah.
but also tasteful. And of course the normal Arabic art, the arabesques, the flowers and everything, and the tiling. And what you notice is it's the temperature is seems to be probably around 22 degrees,
It's really
perfect,
nice. Yeah.
really nice. And inside again, palm trees in huge pots, and you can see a couple of servants as well, as you would expect in such a large house. And yeah, and then she shows you the swimming pool and the garden, and then in the garden there's a little pagoda, and there are chairs that you can sit in and lie in, so deck chairs. And of course there are also birds, because of course as soon as there's an oasis, animals would show up and birds will show up. There are some peacocks running around, again they are quite noisy.
Hmm.
um and it's, in a way, for Dottie, this is perfect. For Dottie, this is probably what she believed Egypt would look like, that the modern Egypt would
Hmm.
look like.
This is stunning.
It is, isn't it?
It is a little bit of paradise here.
Yeah. And I thought maybe you can relax a little. Shut up that head of yours. And she knocks on your forehead with her forefinger.
I'm not sure of that, but at least the body, both of us can relax. Enjoy the pool, having a spa day on our own. Do you think Lady Jane would mind if we, or I have a snoop around in the library.
Not at all. I think the only thing that you would never do and that she would probably not like is if we went into her bedroom.
Oh, and I will definitely not take any books. I would
There
just
you
like to
are.
read.
No, of course. It's a library. It's meant to be used. Do you think it would help if you maybe talk to her about the fact that you met the two sisters? I mean, she is an expert.
Well, I'm just cramming my mind, but I kind of told her I met the first one, didn't I?
Yes, you did.
Well, I'm not sure what she will say if I tell her I met the second one now, because she knows I met the first one.
But she doesn't know how it made you feel.
Well, she can't change anything about that.
I mean, honestly, what would it take for you to stop feeling angry?
Never having a weird situation like bird people and ghost boys and weird cults and other fun things. Not really
Have
fun
you
things, to be honest.
have you ever entertained the thought that this may be your calling?
I really try to ignore that thought. That is pushed away with large, big yelling that it's not very welcome. I don't want to deal with this.
I still believe that you're a chosen one.
If we have to deal with this, or at least I have to deal with this longer, I will not make it. Either I will die, or I will just go insane.
I will prevent both of these things.
Well, you have to take care that you don't go insane with it. Because you are
Sometimes I
suffering from
feel
most of it the same way as I do. Well, you deal with it differently.
I don't feel like I'm going insane from this. I'm afraid for you, yes, but that's all.
Well, I'm afraid for both of us. And I
So
honestly
maybe
quite egoistically think we both don't deserve this. We've gone through a lot. We both almost died to this craziness. We got pulled into a weird mirror. We were pulled into some kind of imaginary Warfield, New York City scrambled hot mess. There's so much wrong about all of this. We've seen
yeah, but
dog people.
well, they're kind of, I don't know, immortal godlike creatures.
Yeah, and no one should see them as a human.
I believe that in the old days, lots of people saw many things.
But
I mean, there's a reason why the Anubians exist. People have seen them. It's just that today we don't want to believe in any of this anymore.
because it's crazy.
But is it?
Yes.
Why is it crazy? It's real. It's not like you're imagining this. It's not like you're making this up.
I kind of still hope that it's not real. Maybe I will wake up in a straitjacket one day and it was all a very weird dream. Although that would mean you would not be there. That would be a stupid idea. I just want a normal life. I want to search for lost cats. Or stolen, I don't know, necklace. Or to find out who is betraying whom behind their backs, maybe. But that was the main idea with being a PI.
I think you're way too exceptional to do this,
I am
to
quite.
do such mundane things.
I would be a happy camper with such mundane things. Much better for health and nerves and sanity.
She puts a hand in her pocket. She's wearing a blazer.
Hmm.
She takes out a little parcel, puts it on her palm, and holds it out to you.
I will take it.
Go on, open it. It's quite safe.
Well, I highly doubt you will give me a piece of explosive something or poisonous. Well, it would be a good place to get rid of me.
To poison you?
Yeah, just dump me
Why would I?
out in the desert.
Why would I do that?
I have no idea.
There you are. Open it. Go on.
She will open it.
It's the green Turkish delight.
We will half and half that.
Of course.
Good.
And she puts her hand in her other pocket. I've got my own. And she takes out another
Mm-hmm.
and she opens it, and it's a parcel the same size. So basically they're little cubes. So
Yeah.
there's like, it's a big cube made out of little cubes, 6 by 6 by 6. And then the two of you go exploring the house some more. And you also notice that every so often, although maybe not as often as you might expect, there is art.
Mm-hmm.
And she's also, like she said to you, Lagrange is somebody that, or Lagrange is somebody that she admires. So there are cityscapes of Lagrange's work. Cairo, there is Luxor. You notice, you also recognize some of the more well-known parts of Cairo that you've also been, where he has actually drawn them. So basically the university and stuff. And so you now have a couple of days where you have nothing to do. You can do whatever you like. You can go to the library, you can lie by the pool, you can do the spa day. And food, basically the butler informs you that you need to make a decision when you would like to have breakfast in the morning. Then there will be a light lunch at around 1 o'clock, and then dinner can be served anytime between 5 and 10 at night.
We will pick sometimes.
Mm-hmm. And of course they serve mocha, and it's divine.
And Alice will. She has two things. First of all, she would, I think the first evening, she would take a quiet minute and sit outside at the pool, even when it's dark.
Mm-hmm.
And with the light, clearly, because she
Mm-hmm.
would pull out an envelope that she put in her bag that she still hasn't opened and read. And the rest of the time, she would probably just relax and she would pick a few books from the library. She would again have a look if she can find anything on the Three Sisters.
Mm-hmm. Do you take out the envelope, open it, and read the contents, or you
Yeah.
just take
No,
out the
no, she
envelope?
she
Okay.
she is opening probably with a small drink if possible at hand, and she will just sit there. She wants to be outside on fresh air, and she will
Okay.
open the letter and read it.
Alice. So it's the letter
Mm-hmm.
from. So we're talking about the
Yeah,
letter
the
from Matthew.
Matthew
Okay,
letter,
good.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Alice. It is a lady's prerogative to decide who she talks to and who she doesn't talk to. It's a lady's prerogative to decide who she lets into her house and who she doesn't let into her house. The last time we met, you exerted both prerogatives. You did not speak to me, and you didn't let me into your house. I accept that. I was hurt, and I was angry, but I had to let go of both these feelings. Not to move on, but to move forward. I hope one day you will be able to let go of the grudges you hold and of the pain that's captivating your heart. Matthew.
She will fold the letter up and she will pull out lead or paper basically and a pen. And she will start writing a letter as well. And I will write that down.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll send it to you later.
Okay.
And she will write a second letter afterwards to her parents,
Mm-hmm.
which will be, I'm not sure. We will see if it's shorter. Probably shorter. There's not that much to say to her parents.
I actually remembered today, because I was listening back to some of the other episodes, that you promised you would write a card to Penny, to Martha, sorry, to Martha
Yeah,
in Florida, because she was looking after your parents when they were down in
in
Florida,
Florida,
in
that's
Miami.
that's true.
And you were telling her that you were going to Egypt, and she said that she would be very happy if you sent her a couple of postcards because she's never going to go, and she, of course,
We would for
would like.
sure, and I'm still not sure. Know I bought things at Luxor, but I
Hmm.
didn't write down what. I need to re-listen. I'm quite sure I bought something for. I have something for mother. I bought something for my father. I think I bought something for Dottie, and I need to double check.
And you bought a bastard statue for Maeve
Yes,
in Cairo, yes.
yes. But
And
clearly, then that would be then something to do when we're back
yeah.
writing to Martha. Clearly.
Mhm. You basically also look at the library, and you do find books. Of course, I mean books and books. You also find a book or a series of books on the goddess Hecate.
Mhm.
The goddess Hecate is a goddess of it's. She's a triple-headed goddess as well. Not as well. She has three heads or three faces. She's associated with. She's also quite often shown with torches in her hand.
Mhm.
She's associated with crossroads, magic, and she has a very split kind of personality. She can be a very dangerous or a very good goddess. She usually roots for women
Mhm.
in terms of that she looks after women. She is kind of a bit of a weird of an amalgamate that she basically looks after the hearth, she looks after birth, she looks after conception, she looks out for women's health in the broadest sense of the word. But she can also be a goddess of revenge. And even to this day, kind of like witches' circles basically pray to her. So she's one of the ones that has made it through the ages. And of course, again, you have this kind of like, and I mean, you're looking at somebody's private library. So there are reference cards in the books and basically cross-referencing Hecate with Astarte, with the three sisters. So obviously, Lady Jane has also been researching this or using this in her research. So she is, again, one of the ones where we don't know where she comes from. She just pops up in the Middle East and in Hellenistic Greek well, kind of in Greek mythology, she's mentioned,
Mhm.
but she's one of the ones that basically popped up, like Isis, Astarte, um, and again, this kind of like, and at some point you come across a typed piece of paper that has been put into one of those books, and it seems like it's possibly the first two pages of a paper that she wrote for some magazine, like an archaeology or kind of like mythology magazine, mythology in terms of comparative anthropology, more like.
Mhm.
And basically this idea that there is this common thread a female god that has the number three associated with them. Either she has three faces, or she comes in threes, she has sisters, or it's mother, grandmother, daughter, kind of this relationship. And it is found in so many different areas. around the Aegean, but it definitely points towards the east. However, there is no corresponding deity, let's say in Hinduism.
Hmm.
This doesn't exist. So it seems like there is, and it's like, is this the missing link? And then the writing breaks off. So it seems like you never got to, she never got to finish the article, or you're just not reading the last part because it's not there. But that this is something that she has been pursuing as well. So that there seems to be more than this. And then she references the introduction to the prose Edda by Snorri Sturluson, where he basically so that was written down in the 13th century, and he was definitely already Christian. It was written down in Iceland after the conversion. And in order to make this story, which is basically the story of the Norse gods, more palpable to people who would have been brought up in a Christian environment, he basically links back Odin and his gods, his fellow gods, back to God who created Adam and Eve, and then there was the deluge, and then only whoever was in Noah's Ark survived. And then he takes a really interesting leap, because then he says that Thor was born in Troy and is the son of the daughter of Priam, Priam being the guy who basically fought the Greeks,
Hmm.
and Achilles. So a really strange, which, I
Mixing.
mean, and the two don't go together at all, but she basically then says, are we seeing something like this, that maybe some connection was hidden, like there a connection was made up that didn't exist, so maybe there's a connection that's now been hidden, that has been basically brushed under the carpet to for us to understand where these goddesses come from. So it's a really interesting thing that she's telling. And then of course she starts with the Norns. Of course there is three of them, and one commands this, one commands that, and the last one is the one that commands the tears and the water. So this the mother of tears, who you've also heard of. And and so this is, so now you're basically looking at the thoughts that never made it into her book. So this is more like a brain explosion of Lady Jane's, that you find her papers essentially in those books.
Okay. She will, well, reading the book, she will definitely not keep from Dottie, so Dottie can see what she is talking or reading. Um,
And Dottie is fascinated by this. Well, I mean, she did tell you that she would hope maybe at some point she will have saved enough money to go to university, if she can get rid of her accent. And she would definitely, I think you believe that this is something she would like to study, like anthropology, mythology, that kind of thing, ancient history. And then she goes in search of this book that's mentioned here, the Prose Edda, and she comes back with a copy,
mhm.
because that has been translated. I think the first translations came out in the 18th century, so it's been translated for a good while and good many times. And she starts reading, because now she's really interested, and she reads you parts from the prologue, where this whole story with Thor coming from Troy, blah blah blah, and she's like, this is really strange, and she keeps reading, and it's yeah. And so she's basically, the two of you, I don't know if you find this, I mean, the problem is your brain isn't shutting up.
That's why she's reading. She's using at least the energy to understand more and find out more. Just
But at
to
least you can read in a very nice environment, because you can
we
read
can,
by the
I
pool.
think for
Yeah.
at least for the body, it's halfway relaxing. We are not running around. We are just chilling, basically, sitting around. Um, but Alice for sure wants to learn more, because in her mind, knowing knowledge is power, to be honest.
Hmm.
So the
Hmm.
more she knows, the better. At least she hopes she feels in control again.
Hmm.
So she wants to
Yeah.
find out about those three sisters as much as she can, especially because she's honestly quite sure she will meet number three as well, and she wants to
Hmm.
be prepared.
Hmm. And so basically, there's also a chess set. So it's one of those tables made from marble where the chess, uh, the squares are inlaid, and there are also
Hmm.
little jade figurines and chessmen and pieces. And Dottie asks if you would play.
For sure.
Okay, so the two of you play some chess. And so, I mean, you have the house for essentially 10 days. So the first 3 days are gone and over. And then Dottie says to you, so how are you feeling?
As always.
Not relaxed.
Well, my body is relaxed. I think it enjoyed old luxury, a soft bed, not having sand everywhere stuck between my toes and other parts. So, kind of refreshed in that sense. I hope
All right.
you enjoyed the time here.
Oh, yes. Have you been able to sleep or have you had weird dreams?
That is a good question.
You've been sleeping really well.
No dreams I can remember.
That's good. And now you can make a spot hidden.
Oh God. Do I want to? No, I see nothing. Oh, yes, I do. That was just a success. I am surprised how high my spot hidden is because I rolled a 71 and it's still a success.
Out of the corner of your eye, you see movement as you're sitting at dinner.
Mm-hmm.
Do you turn your head?
Yes, because Alice is stupid and that would be her initial reaction.
You turn your head to the right
Mm-hmm.
and you're looking at a cityscape painted by Lagrange of Cairo. And you're pretty sure that one of the people in the picture moved. Do you say anything?
No, but she will stare at the painting
Let's see if Dottie
for
notices you
quite a
staring.
long time.
Oh, for quite a long time. In
Yeah,
that case, she doesn't even need
really
to roll because
obviously. She's just blankly like attention moved to staring at the picture because she's just like, don't blink, maybe it will move again. Maybe it will move again.
what is it? Alice. And she snaps her finger. What is it?
I think, never mind.
No, what is it?
You would just say I'm crazy and stressed out, and
When have I ever said that you're crazy? Never.
I think
Stressed out? Maybe, but never crazy.
the painting moved.
The painting moved.
I think so.
She goes to the painting and she basically it's it's quite fastened to the wall.
No, no, in the painting itself, something changed. Not earthquake
She
moving the frame.
she looks at the painting, she takes a step back, and then she gets to it very close and she looks at it. Alice,
Mm-hmm.
can you please take a look at this?
I will jump up and be very quickly standing next to her.
And she holds her finger to the painting,
Mm-hmm.
and there's a group of people. And one of the people is Linda.
What on earth?
And Linda's eyes are blinking.
Alice would very carefully grab with one hand Dottie and with the other hand move her finger to touch the painting.
Okay? You touch the painting, and you've touched oil on canvas
Yeah,
before. This is what it feels like. This is oil on canvas. So he's got watercolors and oil on canvas. This is oil on canvas. It feels like oil on canvas. And then as you touch it, you see Linda walk towards the edge of the frame. Like it's a crowded cityscape. So she walks. So basically, sometimes she's hidden behind other people who have been painted on this canvas. Then she shows up again. She walks to the end of the frame, to the edge of the frame, and then she walks out of the painting. And Dottie's grip tightens, and she says, "Tell me that you're seeing this as well, because then at least I know I'm not going crazy."
you're not going crazy, or we both do together. What city is the picture, the drawing
This is
of?
actually a picture of Cairo.
I think Alice will just leave her hand on the painting, be like just whispering to more to the painting. Linda, where the hell are you? Come back.
I mean, to be quite honest, I've seen lots of things, but that's not quite what I expected to see tonight.
Me neither.
Linda is in the painting.
She can't be.
We saw her. Does this mean that she's still alive?
At least part of her, maybe, probably.
I mean, we were inside a mirror.
Yes.
Why not be in a painting?
Outside of game, Lady Jane had more paintings from the same
Mm-hmm.
artist.
Yeah.
Let's have a look at the other paintings. Maybe she is showing up in something else.
She has about 12 paintings by Lagrange in different parts of the house, but you can find them.
Yeah.
9 of them are of Cairo,
Mhm.
3 are of Luxor.
We will have a look at all of them and have a
Mm-hmm.
close look if we can spot her in any of the paintings.
Okay, then let's make 2 spot hiddens each. 63, that's a success.
35, that's a hard success. And a 15, I will give one luck, one hard and one critical success.
And she rolls a 5.
Oh.
Critical. So between the two of you, you have 2 critical successes and 2 hard success,
Uh-huh.
1 hard success and 1
Wow.
normal success. You this is really like a scavenger hunt.
Yeah.
You run from painting to painting, and you every so often you catch a glimpse of movement. Sometimes you actually see her face and she's walking, and the critical success is she seems harried. It seems she seems frightened. The face is that of a frightened person. She walks really quickly. And then you see the last painting
Mm-hmm.
where she goes through a door into a house. And you recognize this house because you've been warned of it. It is it's the Blue Lotus. It's the world famous opium den of Cairo. And Dottie recognizes it too.
Well, she obviously has been there before. Sadly so.
Yeah, but that doesn't explain how she managed to get into a painting or into the paintings. And especially she was in the desert with us and now she's in the paintings.
I have no explanation or idea.
There goes our chance of looking for lost cats.
Well, I have no idea how to look for her. Because she can't be at the Blue Lotus. There was no way for her to get away like that.
Also, if she had been in the Blue Lotus, considering that we're looking for her and it's in the papers, somebody would have blabbed. Because they would shut down the Blue Lotus if the police found out that somebody that's a British citizen that is being looked for by the army is harbored in an opium den. They would have given her up if she was there, I'm pretty sure. Also, I mean, seriously, that's just the logical side. The weird side is, how did she get into the painting?
I don't know. A painting with a door that opened. Maybe she can draw things quite remarkably realistic. Or something weird happened in the desert.
Why not? Lots of weird things happened in the desert when we were there.
Yeah, but no one got pulled into a painting. And even us being pulled in the mirror meant that there was a mirror.
But didn't you say that whatever her name is, this mother of Sighs said Linda is not here and she didn't know where she was?
Yes. And sadly so, I think she said the truth.
What if Linda actually never vanished from her tent? What if she went into one of her own drawings? I mean, I know this sounds totally crazy, but hey.
We've seen more crazy things. But that would mean we would need to look for her drawings. There are quite a few books on weird things in this library. Should we have a snoop if we can find anything about people traveling through paintings or getting into paintings? I highly doubt we'll find anything. I also have no idea where we should start looking.
Do let's.
Let's give it a try. Maybe we should finish. No, I'm not. Are you done with dinner?
She looks wistfully at the apple pie with custard that's still untouched.
We can grab a piece and move to the library.
All right, but we just need to make sure that we don't get the books dirty.
We will eat at one table and have looking at the books at the other one.
She takes the whole pie.
Alice will
and
grab
the
2 spoons.
and the custard, and of course for those of us who want it, there's also vanilla ice cream for those of us who don't like custard.
I think vanilla ice cream would melt too quickly, so custard would be the sensible way to go because then it can stand for a few minutes. If not, you have vanilla sauce, to be honest. So
Everything's better than custard. And so the two of you make it to the library with 2 spoons, a whole pie, custard, and we shall leave it there.
oh boy.
And in 2 weeks, we will see what you find in that library.
Just to warn you as well, Alice would also see if she can find anything more about the painter,
Mm-hmm.
because it kind of is linked to his paintings.
Yeah. Okay.
Mm,
So I hope you liked this one. It was a little bit light on the actual action, but
I loved it as always, and I am a little bit sad for poor Alice and
why?
Dottie again. Weird things happening. But well,
The
that's
problem.
why we are playing Cthulhu. It's not a happy vacation trip,
No, it's not.
but
Uh,
it's yeah. At least for Alice, it's quite a lot. She kind of
yeah.
awaits things to happen at the same time she hopes every day nothing is happening, and she's in this weird between. So now we have someone moving through a painting that might be dead, not be dead, we don't know.
We shall see.
We will see in 2 weeks.
Until then, we wish all of us, all of you, all of our patrons, thanks for listening, thanks for watching, enjoy, and we will talk to you again soon.
Yes,
Bye.
bye.